I'm Bonnie Roberts, owner of Brooks Coaching. I've known Laurie-Ann for years and have seen her speak on many occasions at events both large and small. So I knew from experience that she's an expert on public speaking. When I saw the announcement for the Signature Speech Program, I was excited for the opportunity to learn from Laurie-Ann how to craft my signature speech. From the first meeting, I knew that my investment was money well spent. It was just truly an amazing experience that is propelling my business forward in ways that I never expected. So thank you, Laurie-Ann, for your wisdom and support. I'm excited for the future. So if you're on the fence about enrolling for Laurie-Ann's signature speech program, I say just jump off that fence now and enroll today. You won't regret it.
The way that most people prepare their speeches is actually sabotaging their success. Too often, I see speakers focus on what they want to say instead of what their audience needs to hear. And that is a recipe for a missed opportunity. Today, I want to pull back the curtain, pun intended, on a framework that every successful speaker uses to craft a memorable, impactful talk that leaves their audience wanting more, meaning more of them, more information, continue to deepen the relationship with the speaker. And this is not about winging it or overloading your slides. It is about building a speech that works every time. And I'm going to share with you my framework and why it works. So let's get on to the show. Are you a coach, a consultant, or a service provider? Well, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Laurie-Ann Mirabito, and this podcast is all about how to leverage public speaking as your best form of marketing, get positioned as the expert, and how to monetize your message. I'm a reformed, painfully shy girl who accidentally became a professional speaker, and today I work with people like you so that you can leverage the more than 20,000 speaking events that are happening today. People ask me all the time, isn't a speech just a beginning, a middle, and an end? Well, kinda. But there's more to that beginning and that middle, and definitely more to that ending. So it's not like what you were taught in school. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. I actually don't believe in telling an audience what you're going to tell them, because if somebody already feels they don't need to hear what that is, then they're going to check out. And if you don't grab your audience's attention right away, they're going to be picking up their phones, answering that text, looking at emails. We don't want that. And there was a time when I first started speaking that I did wing it, that I did write a speech every single time I got booked to speak. And you know what happened? I would be rambly because I hadn't planned. I was just winging it. There was no structure to what I was talking about. The audience was left with, what was that all about? Huh? What? I learned a lot of my lessons because of my experience, but I was very aware of what worked and what didn't work. When I finally got to a point where my next speech was going to be even better, what would make it better? I constantly asked myself that question. But coming up with a structure that is based on neuroscience and understanding your audience, what they're going through, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what they're believing, really does help you pull in your audience and have those 3 C's, which is you want your speech to be compelling, captivating, and most importantly, converting, so that you get the 3 R's, which is you want your audience to be raving about you, remembering you, and referring you. That's what I want for you. Every single time you speak, you use those 3 C's and you will get those 3 R's. One of the other benefits to having the signature speech and using this structure is that you're going to know that it's going to work. That's going to give you a little bit of confidence and something that you can actually track. You're going to look at your audience and say, okay, there's 50 people here. Knowing what your conversion rate is. Okay, 50% are going to at least join my email list. 25% are going to book calls with me. You're going to have those numbers, and those numbers are just kind of an example. They could actually be a lot higher. It depends on what you're speaking about and who you're speaking to. The number one thing that we need with our speech is that we need to connect with the audience, and you need to connect with them right away. They need to know that you are relatable, that you understand them. Towards the beginning of your speech, you need them to understand that you're relatable. So we want to grab people's attention so they put down their phones. You need to start off with something that really grabs people's attention, that makes them like, what? We want to get the audience to literally lean in. So you can do that with a stat, a story, a quote. And whenever you're using a quote from somebody else, I want you to always relate it to yourself. One quote that I use is from Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett said, learn public speaking skills and you'll increase your value by 50%. I then go on to say, I believe that if you learn public speaking skills, you'll increase your bottom line by 87%. Now that gets people's attention. Now they're super curious. They're like, what? But then what happens with your audience, and now we're moving into your authority section, your audience starts to lean back, especially if they don't know you. And your authority section is designed to let the audience know that you are the person that they should listen to. And here's why. It's not like you are rambling on about your resume and all your different achievements. It has to be delivered in a conversational way that lets people know who they're listening to and why they should continue to listen to throughout the speech. And you always want to deliver value. So this is your middle part. This is like the middle part of the sandwich. You have to deliver value. If you were just an infomercial, you're never going to get invited back. The audience, the meeting planner, they'll talk about you, but not the way that you want them to. And if you were speaking for an association where the members are paying a membership dues and you're an infomercial, they will complain to the meeting planner. And then the meeting planner will talk to other meeting planners. And that's going to bring your speaking kind of to a dead-end street. So always deliver really good value. Again, in the in-demand signature speech methodology, what I teach is that you want to teach like 3 different blocks. And there's a way that we set those up. And then you always want to have your audience do something. This is your call to action. And the reason why you want to do this is that whoever is booking you or asking you to speak to their audience, giving the audience homework, an assignment to take the next step. Here's how to move forward. That's what everyone hires a speaker, is to change the audience, to change the way they think, the way they believe, the way they act, always in their best interest. So always have a call to action. I actually talked about this on a couple of episodes last month. They were episodes number 264 and 268. These are common speech mistakes that I want you to avoid, and it's part 1 and a part 2. I dive into these mistakes and also how to correct them. Some of those mistakes that I see people making is overloading the audience, where you're putting way too much information into your speech because you want the audience to know everything that you know, because they need all this information in order to make a good decision. Well, you actually end up overwhelming the audience. Another mistake is rambling on, and this comes from not being prepared, not knowing what you are going to be talking about, veering off topic. The audience is left with, what was that all about? I didn't understand the theme. They talked about so many different things. And then the other one is just missing that call to action. The audience does not know what to do next. Now, I won't dive into those too much because I would encourage you to go and listen to those 264 and 268. Go listen to those episodes where I dive real deep into these 3 mistakes along with 3 others. And I also give you the prescription, that's from my healthcare background, on how to fix those mistakes. Going back to last week where I encouraged you to, if you don't have a signature speech or your signature speech maybe needs to be updated or polished a little bit, if you will, I want to encourage you again to do that. Have that speech that you use over and over and over again. And do not worry about using the same speech over and over and over again. You're repurposing your content. You're repurposing your stories. And the best part about it is you get really, really good at sharing and delivering that speech and those stories. And because you're so good on the stage, that's what gets your audience to remember you, to rave about you, and to refer you. This kind of reminds me of one of my clients, and she took in-demand signature speech, even though she'd done some speaking. And she trusted me enough with the methodology that I teach, and she crafted a beautiful signature speech. And one day I got this message from her saying, I was booked to speak at a networking event. She said I wasn't getting paid to speak at this event. She goes, however, after she stepped off the stage, somebody handed her a business card and said, I need you to come speak at all 26 of our locations. And those were 26 paid speaking events. The moral of this story is speaking is the gift that keeps on giving. Just because you aren't being paid for one does not mean that you will not be able to get paid after that. I mean, had she not said yes to that free event, she would not have had those 26 paid speaking events. And she said it was life-changing for her business. And as the coach, as the person who's running the program, that just makes me smile from ear to ear when I hear stuff like this from my clients. And I want you to be one of those people also. I want you to be wowing audiences. I want you to see the success of what can happen when you have a beautifully crafted speech that you use again and again, and you get in front of the right audiences. So I want to encourage you that in-demand signature speech, there is a wait list that is open right now, and you can go to speakandstandout.com/SS to get on that wait list. And depending on when you're listening to this, the doors may be open. So I want to encourage you to go and check out the program. On that page, you will see what the curriculum is. This is an 8-week program from beginning to end, all the different components. And when the program is done, you will have a completed signature speech that you are proud of and will feel so confident in delivering and using again and again and again. And I show you how to customize it so that every audience actually feels like you wrote that speech just for them. So if this is the year that you finally are going to step into the spotlight and grow your visibility through speaking, I want you to head on over to speakandstandout.com/SS and get on that wait list now. Your audience is waiting, and let's make your message unforgettable. So till next week, be in demand.